We're now joined by Tom Werder, who's Executive Director of Morris Arts. Good to see you, Tom.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'll tell you how this happened. Usually 99% of the great segments we have, our producers come up with the idea because they're innovative and creative and they're really good. I keep seeing this thing about great conversations from home, this ad that I keep seeing digitally and in print. And I go, wait a minute, Morris Arts is doing that? What is Great Conversations from Home, and why is Morris Arts leading that effort?
I'm so glad you asked, Steve. We've been doing Great Conversations for 10 years now, and it started as an event that we did live in a hotel ballroom where we have 30 tables, and each table is hosted by someone cool who you wouldn't be able to have dinner with normally. So that could be a leader of industry, a celebrity chef, a famous author, a sports figure, but somebody that you wouldn't normally have access to have a dinner conversation with. And the reason why Morris Arts is interested in this is we think it's a great fundraising idea, for one, but we think the art of conversation is something that we're really interested in. And, I think that these days, those opportunities are fewer and farther between. And we're really excited about this event, and it just gets better and better each year.
Tom, let me follow up on this, because obviously conversation is a passion of mine.
Yes.
I try to, if 30 years, I'm not as bad as I used to be at it. But that being said, we're having a conversation right now. You talked about doing this for 10 years, sitting around a table, dinner, totally different social, personal, face-to-face, intimate experience. How much harder has Great Conversations from Home been from Great Conversations being together? How much different and harder?
Well, it was extremely different, for sure. And when we first did it from home, it was back in October of last year, just months into the pandemic and months into everybody getting accustomed to being on Zoom all the time. And we took that as an opportunity to continue to do the event, but to use the technology of this, what we're doing right now, to have, instead of tables in a ballroom, to have breakout rooms. And actually, the quality of the conversation with 10 people in a breakout room was really quite good. There wasn't the clanking of knives and forks and waiters coming around to pour wine and, dinner happening in the middle of all this. So the quality of conversation was really quite high. But we can't wait to get back and do this in person, because there's something about that is really, really special. And there's also a networking aspect to the evening where, you get to sit at one table with one conversationalist. But on the event, when it's done live, there's also a cocktail hour, and you get to meet all of the conversationalists if you want, and get to do networking around the room.
Let's do this. By the way, we're putting up the website for Morris Arts. And I think our friend Dennis Wilson and the team up at Delta Dental, and Daniel D's on the board there as well. But we have been talking about this, and we started talking about the arts. And we've been having more and more people from the arts on our programming, talking about, the arts, the role of the arts throughout this pandemic as we go into summer 2021, but also the challenges, the extraordinary challenges in the arts community. Talk about it, Tom.
Yeah, it's been, we were the first ones to close, and we'll probably be the last ones to open. The arts are usually enjoyed in crowds of people. It's one of the things that makes the enjoyment of the arts a community building experience, and we all tried to pivot the best way we could to do what we do digitally. And I have to say, arts organizations were at the forefront of bringing what we have to the digital realm. And, I know that first responders, God bless them, they were working so hard all day, many, many hours. And what did they do when they got home? They turned on a movie, or they watched a dance concert, or they listened to music. So I call artists and arts organizations the second responders in the pandemic, because we were feeding the soul of everybody who is out there on the front lines. So we can't wait to get back in person, because the arts are great for the soul, but they're also great for our local economies.
I'm sorry for interrupting. As we're talking about conversation, I interrupted you, Tom. Go to the economic piece of the arts, please.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, it's the arts are food for the soul, but they're also food on the table for people who work in this industry. They're also, you see when there's a performance at the local theater, all the restaurants are filled to the brim. There's life on the streets well into the evening. This is, when somebody goes out to see a performance, they're not just buying a ticket. They're paying for dinner. They're paying for parking. They pay the babysitter. They maybe do a little shopping in retail stores before the show. They grab a bite to eat afterwards. We did a study a few years ago. Every arts goer each person spends at least $32 in addition to their ticket when they go out to see a performance. So that money adds up to about $32 million a year in Morris County alone, where Morris Arts is located. And that's money that just stays in the community and churns and churns and churns and helps our local businesses and our local workers.
One more quick question on this. Nonprofit to nonprofit.
Yeah.
We've obviously pivoted. We're in a studio that's not our normal public broadcasting studio, whether in New York at Lincoln Center with our partners at WNET or in New Jersey with the great NJPBS operation. That's where we normally are. Okay, normally. We're here doing what we're doing remotely, but also having to raise money, having to manage our staff, having to pay our bills, pay health benefits, the whole bit. I don't want to get into the weeds, and I'm not crying the blues.
Right.
But you've had to do the same thing. How the heck, well, let me ask it this way. How hard has it been to stay afloat?
It's been incredibly challenging. I think back to a year ago when we were applying for our first PPP loans from the federal government, trying to figure that out as fast as we could and hoping we were submitting our applications in time. And
Same here. By the way, let me disclose, we did that and we're fortunate to get that. Please tell me you did as well.
We did too. We got 2 rounds of PPP, thank God, and we got lots of other emergency funding as well. And that's how we've been able to keep our staff employed and keep doing what we're doing, even though it's been digital for the most part. We want to be around for when we come out the other end of this and be in place to continue to do our great work in the community. So we've taken advantage of all of the extra funding that was out there. But I have to say it's been doubly challenging to adjust to doing this work at home, to adjust to using technology for everything we did that we never used before. It's really been hard on every individual, but like you, I'm not complaining. I am so grateful that we've been able to survive, and we're ready.
I'm knocking on wood if you can't tell.
Yes, I am too. And we're ready to be back,
Yeah, the only reason I'm cutting you off is because on our end, there's a finite amount of time, and in my ears are like, Steve, you got to get out now. So, Tom, I can't thank you enough. Tom Werder is Executive Director of Morris Arts. I love Conversations from Home. Check out their website. Go on and see previous conversations. And I look forward to working with you in the future, Tom.
Thanks so much, Steve. I hope we get you to be a great conversationalist next year.
Yes, I'm free. It's all good. I'm
right.
Steve. That's Tom.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's the price he wanted. We'll see you next time.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Delta Dental of New Jersey, Hackensack Meridian Health, Investors Bank, Summit Health, NJM Insurance Group, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, ADP, the Fidelco Group, and by Seton Hall University. Promotional support provided by ROINJ and by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
Many of New Jersey's children have been affected by COVID-19, but now that there is a safe and effective vaccine available for children ages 12 and older, you can help make COVID-19 history by getting yourself and your child vaccinated. Let's end this pandemic together and help all children get back to being kids. Visit hackensackmeridianhealth.org/COVID-19 to learn more or to schedule a vaccine appointment today.